everybody. Welcome to the Tachless Show with Kira Tchernikovsky, the show about people who succeed by doing things differently. And today we are talking about kind of a beast for me, data science. It's numbers, it's data, but it's actually great projects that we are going to look at. And today I'm welcoming Sayantan, and he will just present himself. He has huge experience and he's doing something amazing here.
Thank you, Kira, for having me. I really appreciate that, So a little bit about myself is, I'm working as the director of demand generation for Gramener Inc. Gramener is a New Jersey-based design-led data science and analytics company. A little background about myself. I pretty much cut my teeth in the music industry to start off with. And I had a little less than a decade here of experience in that industry, right? Moved on to a Hong Kong-based venture capital firm where I was handling about 12 of their portfolio companies, startups, right? Eventually, Kira, I moved on to a US-based venture capital fund, and I joined them as the AVP of their fund. Eventually climbed up the ladder to be a VP of the firm, and then as years went by, I became a partner of the fund, operating partner of the fund. So it was intense learning in the VC world, right? So prior to joining Gramener, I was working for one of the fund's ERP SaaS portfolio company, and they were based out of Chicago. So I was primarily working as the VP of Marketing North America for that ERP company, right? So to sum it up, I have around roughly around 15 years of experience in different industries, right? Music business, SaaS, venture capital, and now data science. And let's see where this takes me, right? Beyond work, Kira, I love writing for different publications, and I regularly share my articles on LinkedIn and stuff like that. I speak at different B schools on state of demand gen, marketing, venture capital, and technologies, right? I am a composer, I'm a guitar player, and I'm also an audio engineer, when I'm not working, right? So that's, so that's pretty much me. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I told you folks, he's doing something amazing. And this mix of so many different skills and experiences, I'm actually less surprised now that it brought you to data science, because I think I also read that pianists, because they need to develop both sides of the brain, because they're playing piano with both hands, they are faster learners, and they get progressed in their careers much faster because they somehow grasp information and do stuff with it that regular people cannot. So yeah, and you are in the marketing, on the marketing side now. So what we in marketing try to do is to explain in plain language the benefits, how we close the gaps that people or organizations have. So let me torture you a bit about data science. Yeah. Can you explain to me in plain language what this data science means? Because probably you have to explain that day to day to different organizations, big or small.
Sure. So, Kira, the way I understand data science is, it is basically a fantastic foundation on which you can start building narratives and stories, right? So, in its raw form, it might not make sense to you. You might have a lot of data, but what is that telling you? You might have different CRM, ERPs, which is giving you a lot of dashboards, but what beyond that, right? So data science kind of answers that beyond why, how, what kind of answers, right? So simply put, data science to me can be defined as a scientific approach of analyzing and extracting, previously unexplored insights that can, be translated into business actions. So, data is flowing in form from all corners, right? It does not matter what industry you're in or who your audience is, right? Your organization is probably sitting on heaps of data waiting to be combed and put into good use. So with data science, you can make all of this possible, and eventually you'll see like all of this data, heaps of data is now making sense. So at Gramener, where I'm currently working, we are very heavy on data analytics and data storytelling, right? And we do this very beautifully. The way we do it is like we have a methodology known as the Radar framework, which kind of helps organizations access, their like data maturity level of the organization, right? So Radar, basically, the Radar framework means, reflect, align, define, adapt, and radiate, right? So with this kind of with this kind of methodology that we have kind of adapted and defined, organizations can take very purposeful steps thereon with that data, right? And you slowly see that we kind of help them identify strategic directions and build narratives around their like data problems, right? And they will eventually understand their maturity level of the organization, and in turn, all of that exercise together will make them a better, decision maker in the organization, a lot of savings in dollars. So simply put, data is, a scientific approach to kind of like uncovering hidden insights from, different business directions and inputs, right?
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And it actually reminds me, I've had another podcast with Raj from Canada, and we talked about marketing research, those surveys or stuff like that. And it was also about storytelling. Right. And that connects really well to what we're talking about. So then could you tell me at which point organizations or like clients come to you and what their inquiries are? How do they realize they have enough like data threshold to do something with it? And how do they uncover that they do have a problem, they don't know what to do with this data? And on top of that, let's start with this. I have tons of questions to you.
Sure. So, I'll answer it in a very simple way, right? So it really doesn't matter what stage the organization is at, right? So we have customers or prospects all the way from startups to SMEs to Fortune 500s, right? So, interestingly, Kira, I was reading a report the other day by Deloitte, right, which said 49% of their survey respondents to one of their survey that they did said data science, data analytics is a key implementation that organizations are doing for better decision making. With the right resources, skills, processes, now enterprises can improve their business decision making significantly, right? And at Gramener, we live and breathe data. And, we even take it a step further by providing data as stories. What happens are stories are sticky in nature. Stories are memorable. Stories are viral. You can, if I give you a fact, you might not even remember a fact. But if I tell you a story around that fact, you will, okay, now it strikes a chord. And, the way we do it is basically we have a low-code platform, and we collect all that data from different sources that organizations have, and we built executive decision supports for them and different narratives and charts for them, so that it makes their decision making, like presentations, sprint meetings better, right? Another, which reminds me, another survey I was reading, the gap between leaders and laggards is widening. Leaders are those organizations, that are really good at benefiting from their data investments. As you see, more and more organizations are becoming data centric. I mean, data is like
or they wish, but they can't. We see that every day.
Right. Now, like the way I see it is any level of organizations, as I said, from startups to SMEs, to Fortune 500 clients, they all should aspire to become data centric, and we help them achieve that, and, there is no like a right time or wrong time to implement a data science project. And, we have got customers ranging from, like as I told you, SMEs to Fortune 500, and there are a lot of questions that we get, and to answer the other question, what kind of questions do we get, like, from these clients when they come to us, right? Typically, we see questions around, how do we quantify the results of a data science project? How do we measure, like, success with data science projects, right? How much we invest in data science and AI, how do we build like teams which are data driven and which are like data centric organizations, right? Is it making sense, all of this data that is flowing in? What beyond our CRM? What beyond our ERP and data lake systems, right? How can we make our sprint executive reports interactive, right? If I'm a head of BI, I do not have time to like sit and do reporting all day. I just need something which can feed my reporting process and it can just automate, right? How do we do executive decision support better, right? So, list of all of this goes on. We get so much of questions, when clients come to us, we're looking for a data science solution, right? The way we do it is like I spoke in my previous question, Kira, we use this data to value rather a methodology, and we handhold organizations to answer all of these questions, Now, what happens is they then realize where they are at a maturity level of their data science journey, right? That's when they make decisions, investments in data science projects.
Yeah, gosh, like some of the questions are clear to me. How do I make reporting visible and how do I help executives make informed decisions? But some of them, like, how do we measure? How much do we invest? Oh gosh, that's big shoes to get into. So,
Totally.
and you know what? It reminds me a bit of what Gonka doing. So collecting the revenue intelligence data and also sharing that, in reports with public access, like best practices, but it does mean that will definitely apply to your organization. So if you can do that internally, that just shows how much more powerful and competitive you can be. What data do your clients need to put in? We name CRM, RP, operational. Is it also external data like market data, research? What do they need to put in to get something out?
Sure. So, Kira, the way I have seen prospects when they come to us, every organization is different, and they have multiple sources of data sources, right? Be it their ERP system, data lakes, it can be as small as an Excel file with 100,000, 150,000 like data sets, cloud, CRM. It really doesn't matter what the source is, right? See,
really?
Really, I mean, so see, we are not here, like Gramener is not here to kind of, do the data cleansing for you. We can help, but what I'm trying to say, we are trying to help you with executive decision support, make stories out of your data so that your business becomes profitable, your business becomes grows quarter over quarter, right? So depending on the level of data maturity, they can transform disparate data sources into very strategic assets. So every prospect can have their own unique journey to be data driven, right? And in fact, with such data driven methodologies that I earlier spoke about, rather framework, now entire organization can benefit. It doesn't matter like what department, analytics or marketing or sales wants to implement. I mean, every department can implement. The 5-step methodology that I spoke about, it can guide organizations to be very data centric and make them grow in their data science journey. So in short, organizations capture different elements of this journey, right? Reflecting on strategies, priorities, evaluating their capabilities, and executing initiatives with very precision solutions that we provide, like AI, digital twins, computer vision, etc. Right? So it really doesn't matter what source, right? We just help them be a better data-driven organization.
Yeah, so like in the worst case, and we'll go through the best case scenario right now. So in the worst case, they would come to you and say like, here is the data that we have, desperate, like all different sources and formats.
Right.
And can you take it and answer our top 3 questions? And you would also see whether they have gaps in their data. And you would say like, your 3 questions can be answered, or, we need to tweak it, or like, this is what we see, more or less.
Correct. Yeah. And
it sounds like a dream. Really.
Correct. And then, Kira, as I told you, we have this low-code platform that does a lot of your, structuring of the data and all of that, builds, like, check out Gramex. It builds like very beautiful, like decision making dashboards and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, amazing. And as a Canadian, I just scanned through your website and I saw a great example, which I wanted you to dive into. Yeah. This is something related to the climate change and the project that your company has done with the city of Calgary here in Canada that is supposed to help the whole country to be a greener country. Can you explain how that happened and what you have achieved?
Sure. Interesting. So, Kira, Gramener partners with Microsoft for various conservation and sustainability efforts for, their AI for Earth initiative, right? So for this transformation in particular, the aim was to, basically build a geospatial analytics-based predictive solution that could curb the urban heat islands impact in the city of Calgary, Canada, right? Mm-hmm. So, according to a report that I was going through by IPCC, just a 1.5 degrees centigrade rise in temperature may put about 20 to 30% species at risk and at extinction, right? So that is how urban heat islands kind of affects majorly to rise in temperature, etc. Right? So, this client of ours are nonprofit based out of Canada, right? So they wanted to kind of like mitigate the impact of this urban heat islands, right? And our AI for resilient city solutions identifies, buildings that contribute to this, heat island effects, right? Mm-hmm. So, Kira, the tool uses multiple data points such as weather information, socioeconomic parameters, building footprints, satellite imagery, and infrastructure data to find out such information, right? And what we do is using this sophisticated solution that we built, we give it back to the municipality stakeholders in the city of Calgary. And that was where the project was piloted, and there are plans to kind of, go through Canada, cover entire Canada, So, the tool basically analyzes, plan climate interventions and takes corrective actions at a micro level.
So basically now the Calgary municipality can go to those heat zones, a bunch of buildings, and try to fix something, what caused actually that heat center.
Mm-hmm. So it's making a smarter city, right? A smarter city.
Absolutely. So you invest the effort to actually, yes, to fight the fire, but the actual fire, so to say. Yeah, no, that's great. And do you collaborate with Microsoft on their like sustainability initiatives, or you're leveraging their tools and like AI or their information as well?
So for Microsoft, we built technologies on Azure, right? But
Good. Mm-hmm.
The tech stack and the IP is mainly ours. We build the solutions, as their data science partner.
Oh, that's amazing. No, that's a great tool. Like amazing, one of the best. Yeah, and then let's try to highlight the benefit of data science and working with data smartly. From your experience, what would you name the most undervalued benefit of meaningfully working with data? So like not just a bunch of data, but doing something meaningful as you described for Calgary, for example.
Sure. This is a tricky one,
I know.
So, well, if you are a data driven organization, right, you not only use data to read reports and take actions, but also imbibe the insights out of it, right? Your data insights has to seep deep into your data science journey, right? Today, most organizations, use data in some form or the other to create, like if it's a marketing organization, to create stories around brand, determine different, salespeople to determine different directions and stuff like that, right? But, the challenge is to bring quality to this aspect, right?
Yeah.
And this is where data storytelling offers you unparalleled benefits, compared to a regular data analytics company, right? And that is why we are very heavily invested in data storytelling versus data analytics. So we have data analytics, but in a data storytelling format. So it's very easily consumable, memorable, and can be remembered, right? So Gramener understands this and creates like state-of-the-art data and AI solutions that enables our user to consume insightful data stories to enhance their overall business results. So it's a win-win for both, right?
Yeah, I love this aspect of storytelling. I'm so happy I asked and we went through that again, because
Right.
I think data is frightening for many.
Totally.
And if you can wrap that into meaningful reports, that's great. You have the tools. But if you can tell stories with the data that trigger maybe different thinking, I think that's so much lacking.
Totally.
Yeah. And then with this, I think I have the last question. What would be your proudest moment, or one of the proudest moments, when you said like, hey, we've done an amazing job for this client? I love the Calgary example, but I bet you have more.
Sure. So Kira, the list is long, and and I can say, right, Gramener is proud to be associated with Microsoft as their gold partner. So we have worked with them on several groundbreaking solutions as a part of their AI for Earth initiative, right? One such initiative is the award-winning solution that we developed for a nonprofit called the World Mosquito Program. So as Microsoft's data science partner, Gramener helped World Mosquito Program to fight the spread of mosquito-borne diseases with our AI capabilities, right? So WMP, what they did was they released lab-bred Wallabuchia infused mosquitoes in different communities in APAC regions and a lot of South American regions, right? Wallabuchia bacteria basically limits the replication of dengue and disease-prone viruses in mosquitoes. So what Gramener did was, we built an AI solution which analyzes data sets, such as release points, human population densities, land use, weather, and more. Kira, using satellite imagery, the model, accurately maps a large geography to identify impactful mosquito release points within as little as 100 square meter blocks, right? So several rounds of these releases helped modified mosquitoes in in an Indonesian city result in about 76% decline in dengue cases in over in 2.5 years time, right? So, and that's huge, right? And it has basically helped the World Mosquito Program's initiative to saving over 5 million lives being saved, right? And that's big. You have saved 5 million lives is a very big number. Another project that I am particularly very proud of, and this one particularly reflects our commitment towards delivering low-code solutions in a storytelling and data insights format, right? So one of our clients, which is one of a leading name in the cold storage solutions in the US, they are called USCS, United States Cold Storage. So what we did there, Kira, we observed that, that manual system of scheduling carrier appointments led to a very high turn times for this pickups of the carrier, and drop-offs, right? So this in turn was causing, a lot of operational delays and, fines for them. And, they were in need of an accurate, data-driven, smart scheduling system. So, they reached out to us, and we kind of like helped build an intelligent appointment scheduler in just a few weeks, not months, right? Like using our low-code application platform, which is Gramex, right? So now what happens is this machine learning based solution that integrates with, US Cold's warehouse management system, it uses their historical data to evaluate various parameters such as, complexity, warehouse loading, expected delay at carriers, and all of that. We saw a 15% improvement in their facility turn times across 26 warehouses. USCS saved over $300,000 on potential detention charges. Their facilities reported a happy index of about 86%. And now that's a very high happy index score, right? And, Kira, there are many such initiatives that are very close to our hearts. In fact, Gramener over the years, has developed more than 1,500, 2,000 solutions for clients across the globe. And we are all ears, and we are all here to help you with any data transformational journey that we can help with.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I think you are telling stories as well. Like it's just not just case studies, but this is like a storytelling framework.
Yeah.
There was, but, and then, and everybody is happy. No, that's great. And I can now see how really science, for example, or business can benefit from intelligent work with data.
True.
So that it can be on different scale as well. That's great. I understand data science much more now, and I'm happy there are those solutions for big and small businesses. So right. I hope that our listeners will also scan through the website. You have case studies there that everybody can relate to, and we'll publish your contact information. And guys, feel free to connect on LinkedIn and drop an email. And see you soon. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you, Kira. Thank you. I appreciate your time.